Okay, good. It is now 4:06, and I will call to order the January 24th meeting of the Parking Authority, the Transportation, Mobility and Parking. And we have a quorum with Commissioner Collier Clemens and Mayor Rilling. First item on the agenda is approve the minutes of the meeting of November 15th, 2021. Do I have a motion? You're on mute.
Excuse me, please. I move approval of the minutes.
Okay. Any corrections, omissions, deletions?
I have none.
Okay, so all.
Sorry, I'm sorry I'm late. I was making tea and I didn't look at the clock. It's all my fault.
The all in favor of approving the minutes as submitted?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next item on the agenda, approve the race route for the Boston Build-Up 2.25K as shown to be held on Sunday, February 27th. Mr. Yosak, I guess, or the Traffic Authority, who's going to handle this?
Yes, Mayor. Thank you. The Boston Build-Up is a regular race that's run every year. We have Mr. Gerwick here, the organizer of the race. I don't know if you want to say anything about it, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, probably 90% of the race is in Wilton and New Canaan, but it starts and finishes in Norwalk. So that's why we need to get a permit.
And where does it start? Hello? Where does the race start?
Oh, yeah, it starts and finishes at Silvermine School, but it almost immediately goes into Wilton and New Canaan, and probably 95% of the course is not Norwalk, but the fact that it starts and finishes Norwalk and uses Silvermine School means it requires a permit from the city.
Okay. Any questions of the police department or Commissioner Clemens?
No, I have. Am I still? Oh, okay. No, I haven't. No questions.
I have a number of questions for Mr. Gerwick. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I know Jim will. I'm just kidding.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Next item, approve the parade route for Norwalk St. Patrick's Day Parade as shown to be held on Saturday, March 12th, 2022. Do I have a motion?
I move.
Okay, motion's made. Mr. Yosak, Mr. or Chief Kaholic.
That's the race that takes leads from Vets Park and goes over to O'Neill's. We have Lieutenant Terry Blake. I don't know if he wants to say a few words on it.
It's the hey Mayor, good afternoon. The route is the same route as we've been doing for several years. Obviously, we're off the last 2 years due to the pandemic, so we're hopeful this year we'll get it back up and running. But it is the same as it's been.
All right, and you understand that if we approve it, it's situational based on what may be happening at any given time over the next couple of months?
Absolutely.
Okay. Any questions, Commissioner?
No, just a correction that this is a parade and not a race.
Right.
Okay.
Any comments from the police department? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next item on the agenda, approve the race routes for the Hats for Hammy 5K and Fun Run as shown to be held on Sunday, April 3rd, 2022. We have the can you give Mr. Yosak or whomever, can you tell us about the route?
Sure. We have Ms. Slydecker here, the organizer of this race. Maybe she could speak on it.
Yes, I thought I would follow the exact route as a turkey trot turkey trot on Thanksgiving, because it seems to be a popular route. And since you've already done it, you kind of know it. I didn't want to make it more complicated.
Sorry, what is the route you're following?
The turkey trot from Thanksgiving. So you start at Rowayton Community Center and then take a right down down the hill into Bell Island and around Rowayton, and then back up around Roten School and end back at the community center.
All right, have you been in contact with the 6th Taxing District Commission?
Yes, I have.
And they're fine with it?
Yes.
Okay.
We're
I'm
very
sorry,
supportive.
can I have a motion for this item?
I move approval of the application for the hats for Hammy.
Okay, so any other questions or concerns of the police department or commissioner?
Me? The only thing is on the special events permit, I didn't get the sign off yet from the police and I guess this is a transportation, and we have the insurance all uploaded to the portal, or will be tonight.
All right. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next item is approve the race route for the Bunny Boogie to be held on Saturday, April 16th, 2022. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
Okay, who's going to handle this?
This is a race over in Bailey Beach. It's a 3-mile race on Samus, Highland Bluff, Crescent Beach, Rowayton Avenue. And again, we have Mr. Gerwick here, who's the organizer of that race.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, it's just a pretty much local race, 3 miles around through, Rowayton and Bell Island. It's the same route that's used for the lighthouse run in the fall. So that's been, no issues in terms of traffic or anything like that.
Have you been in touch with the 6th Taxing District Commission?
Yep.
And they're good with it?
Yes, yeah. The beneficiary is actually the Rowayton Community Association summer music series. They're
Okay. Okay. Any questions, Commissioner?
No questions.
Okay, did you move it or did I ask for a motion?
You do not ask for a motion.
Can I have one now?
Okay, I move approval of the application on the Bunny Boogie run. Is that a run?
It's a race, so yeah.
Race, okay.
Okay,
Yep.
Any further questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Can I have a motion on the next item, Commissioner?
I move the application review on Marvin Walkathon.
Okay, who's gonna handle this?
Uh,
Okay, Ms. McMurray.
Hi, I'm here as the
Councilwoman.
PTA president, not councilwoman today. This is an event that we've done prior to COVID for a few years. It's our biggest fundraiser at Marvin Elementary School. And we usually have the kids in waves go down to the beach and walk back on the sidewalks. In the past, we've had a police officer present on Calf Pasture Beach Road across from the school to make sure that the kids safely cross the street back to the school.
Yeah, I've been in that.
You have been in that. I was just going to say, the mayor has definitely been involved, and we've been appreciative of everyone who's taken place in it in past. This is obviously contingent on, COVID numbers and things, but we figured we would go ahead and get the permit process going in hopes that we are able to do this outside on a nice sunny day.
Okay, any questions from the commissioner or the police department? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Okay, motion carries. I saw your hand go up, Commissioner, even though you're on mute. There. Okay, next item on the agenda. Can I have a motion for item number 7?
Move item number 7.
Which is the approval approve the removal of parking on a portion of Novak Street as shown. Garrett, Mr. Balella, are you going to handle this one?
Yes, I'll be speaking to that. So thank you. If you don't mind, I'll share my screen. And I'm just going to put the Google Earth for Novak Street. So you'll see on the right side of your screen, we have Meadow Street. Novak Street is in the center. And then you have South Main Street on the left side of the screen. So TMP was approached by Assistant Fire Chief Edward McCabe about concerns impacting their emergency vehicles. So in the bottom of this aerial, you'll see the Norwalk Fire Department is on the corner of Novak and Meadow Street. And the way their operations work is they often travel from Meadow up Novak Street to South Main Street. And they came to us with a general concern for parked vehicles on the street, impacting the operations and efficiency for their emergency vehicles to get to South Main Street. So the chief requested that we evaluate the street for the feasibility of converting it to a one-way roadway. TMP, myself, Bureau Chief Jim Travers, and councilperson Darlene Young went out and we walked the street, we walked door to door, and we were able to speak with many of the neighbors. We presented two alternatives based on the chief's request. One was the possibility of making the street one way from Meadow to South Main Street. And then the other was to maintain two-way operations, but to remove on-street parking on one side of the street. So we spoke with a number of the neighbors, and they were all largely supportive of the fire department and their efforts, but they did present some concerns. Largely, their concerns with a one-way street, westbound street, was really at the top of the hill, at the top of Novak Street at South Main Street. There's very limited sight lines onto South Main Street when you're looking to the left. So that was one of the challenges they brought up. Another challenge they brought up is oftentimes down by the fire department, Meadow Street gets flooded and they rely on the street being two-way to access their homes during emergencies. The other alternative, converting the street or maintaining two-way operations on the street, but removing on-street parking on one side of the roadway, there was just a general concern that a number of people and residents utilize the street for on-street parking. So we spent a lot of time out there doing observations and taking cross-sectional measurements. And what we found is, if you take a look at this aerial, the easterly portion of the street is largely 30 feet wide. There's a lot of driveways, there's a lot of curb cuts, and there's fire hydrants. So there's a lot of opportunities for vehicles to pull over if there's an emergency vehicle coming up the street from the fire department. But the westerly segment of the street really presented the problem. It's tight. It's 20 to 22 feet for about the first 125 feet east of South Main Street. And that's really where the bottlenecks occur. That's where the gridlock occurs. If you have a bus and a fire truck that meet at that portion of the street, they often can't get by each other if there's another car parked on that section. So just given the existing environs of the street, we met with Lieutenant Sussman at the fire station to present what we thought was the best alternative for the street. And let me just bring up an enlarged image so that you can see. What we really looked at was, removing parking, but limiting the amount of parking that we removed along this really tight section of the street, and putting no parking prohibitions in. And what that would result in is on the northerly curve of Novak Street, for about 90 feet along that first property frontage, there would be no parking. And then along the southerly side of the street for about 125 feet along the first residence, there would be no parking. We feel that would be the best case solution. It would allow emergency vehicles to navigate that section of the street and prevent what's happened in the past, where a vehicle would be parked there like as they are today. And it would create gridlock between larger vehicles or just any vehicles going two-way. So that is our proposal in front of you today, and then we seek your approval.
Have you shown Assistant Fire Chief McCabe this particular recommendation?
Yes, so when we met Lieutenant Sussman in the field, Edward McCabe was not able to be there that day, but Lieutenant Sussman shared the plans, and he was supportive as this first effort to try to improve operations on the street.
Okay. Police Department, do you have any questions? Commissioner Collier-Clemens, I'm sorry. You have any questions?
I just want to make sure that the residents on Novak Street are aware of this new proposal for the no parking areas.
Yes, so actually you bring up a good point too. Should this be approved too, we'll also send the follow-up correspondence. But yes, we spoke with a number of the residents on the street, and this was largely in line with what they were looking for. They really saw the value in the on-street parking and asked and requested of the department that we maintain as much of the on-street parking as practical. And we would certainly follow this up with a letter to all the residents, following up with the findings of the traffic authority so that they know before these improvements are installed.
Thank you, Garrett. I have no more questions.
Okay. And from the aerial view, it looks like there's plenty of off-street parking that is available. And in the area where you're looking to put the no parking, there's really no houses that should be affected, or people would park there to walk in and out of different houses.
Yeah, we took that. We took that into account when we looked at the limits of what was needed, and tried to stick with the minimum necessary prohibitions to maximize on-street parking.
Well, I think that this is really a good compromise.
Yeah.
You all did a really good job. Let's see if it works.
Thank you. So like everything we do, we will go back, we will monitor, and if we need to make changes, we will make changes and bring that back.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. Next item, item number 8. Can I have a motion?
I move item number 8.
Okay, that would be to request State Traffic Commission to review approving a 25-mile-per-hour speed limit on Camp Street. Who's going to be handling this?
I guess I'm speaking to all of them today. So you
Okay.
have me for the next couple of minutes.
Okay,
So this largely, the impetus of this is we've been working with the principal of Tracy Magnet School, Brenda Brush, on doing a number of what we'll call safe routes to school, or school zone improvements around the school to make it safer for pedestrians, to help mitigate some of the congestion that's occurring. There's a lot of activity and they have a very small pickup drop-off loop at the school. Just to highlight a number of the things we've done over the last few months, we've added new shoulder pavement markings to the street and to improve delineation of the road and help mitigate some of the speeds on the road. We've installed a number of corner restriction signs to eliminate corner congestion and help the buses exit the school zone area. We've also added signage to reinforce the operations of their bus loop in front of the school, so it's not confused for pickup drop-off. And we worked on improving the crosswalks on the street. So we did the addition of yield lines, we did retroreflective signage along the street. But what we're really here for you today is actually the next item relates to this one, but to put in some requests to the state to look at the speed limits on the road. So this one currently falls under OSTA's blanket 30-mile-per-hour speed limit. And we are requesting that it be reduced to 25 to be more compatible with the residential character of the neighborhood, but also the operations of the school. And if it's okay, if I comment on the next one.
yeah, I was going to ask you to do that so we can move
Okay.
them both together.
Great. So we thought of these as a bundle. And so we would look for the general speed limit of the street to be reduced to 25 miles per hour, but at the same time, put a request into the state to actually establish Camp Avenue in the area around Tracy School as a school zone. And we would request that during the hours of pickup drop off, that school zone be 20 miles per hour. And to enforce that, we request that we would be able to install school zone flashers that state that are operating at the times the school is actually pick up and drop off activity to reinforce that 20 miles per hour. So those are the two requests that you have in front of you for Camp Street, but it's really just to continue the safe routes to school improvements and school zone improvements that we've been looking at.
Okay, Commissioner Collier Clemens, could you add item 9 to your motion for item 8?
Yes, I move that we add item 9 to item 8 so that we can move on both of them.
Okay, and do you have any questions?
No, he explained it very well.
Any police department comments or concerns? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstentions, motion carries unanimously. Item number 10, can I have a motion?
I move item number 10 on the agenda.
Okay, Mr. Bilella,
All right, so I have one more for the commission. I'm going to share my screen again so you can see the letter that we sent out to the neighbors. And so just to recap, this was an action item in November at the November meeting when there were some general concerns raised about the do not block the box pavement markings and related signage for the implementation of do not block the box only on the northbound travel lanes of East Avenue at Olmsted Place. And you can see in the graphic below, this was the proposal at the time. We, at the request of the traffic authority, we went back and we held a neighborhood meeting and we met with the neighbors of Olmsted Place and Knickerbocker Avenue on Thursday, December 9th, 2021 to really discuss the proposed improvements, clarify the project. It's somewhat different than what was proposed in the past, and to answer any questions that the neighbors might have. Prior to this meeting, we actually canvassed the neighborhood and staff members of our department went out and knocked door to door and spoke with the neighbors, not only to get their involvement in the meeting, but also to get a general consensus about their desire for improvements or actions, such as this do not block the box at the intersection. And they were largely positive. On the night of the public meeting, we had 3 people attend via Zoom, 2 were on YouTube, and then the actual video was viewed 26 times afterwards. And just to put that in perspective, there's between 50 and 60 residences on that street. But what we wanted to follow up with is during the meeting, there were several items that were raised by the neighbors of the street. And we just wanted to provide a clarification of our proposal and how we would propose to address those concerns. I think the prior proposal proposed that the access to Olmsted Place might be limited, restricting left turns from Olmsted Place out onto East Avenue. I just want to clarify that the proposal before you maintains all access as it is today, and residents can enter and exit Olmsted Place from any direction. So that was one of the things that we made sure was clarified at the meeting. In addition, you'll see from the graphic and the proposal, there's only a fine subject to a $100 fine that would be on the northbound lane. So this is really just to stop the travelers in the northbound direction from encroaching and blocking the intersection, and stop residents or people visiting the place of worship on Olmsted Place from accessing the site. So one of the concerns that we heard from the neighborhood was that they would get fines entering and exiting the street, but the way the actual ordinance is written in the Connecticut General Statute states the turning vehicles would be exempt, and to reiterate that, we'd only have the enforcement for the $100 fine on that northbound approach. That was one of the major things that I think just required a little bit more clarification. Other conclusions we made in speaking with residents of the neighborhood is like all our improvements, we'll continue to monitor the efficacy of this improvement after, and we've already collected some data before. We have some video footage, and then we will go out after and report back. The last thing was that there might be some confusion to the new improvements. So what we would recommend is, if this is improved, we would likely install it late spring, maybe May or June. And what we would do prior to that is, again, send out a notice to all the affected residents, all the homeowners of the street, just again, reiterating how this improvement works, some of the details that I just provided you, to make sure that everyone has a full understanding. And we certainly believe that education is a huge component of any transportation project. So I'm here before you today asking for your approval to implement the do not block the box and the related pavement marking and signage that's shown on your screen in front of you today.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Collier-Clemens, any questions?
No questions.
Okay, and the police department, no questions or concerns? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. That's the end of our action items. We have another item. I see Mr. Whipple here for the 2022 Sono Half Marathon update, JS Endurance. Mr. Whipple or Mr. Yosak?
Guys, hi panel, I'm Mayor Ryland. This would be year 8 and we're excited about it. Last year went very smooth. It was the second year of the new route that we implemented a couple years ago. I've had follow-up correspondence with Sergeant Galino. She said everything went very well. So If you guys have any questions, please let me know. But other than that, I mean, we're looking to do it October 2nd, which is the first Sunday of October, like we usually do. So any questions?
I have none. Commissioner Collier Clemens,
I have no questions.
Police Department. Okay, so you will be coming back before us for the final approval? Okay.
You happen to know when that is, Mayor Raylan?
No, I guess you'll work with Mr. Yosak or whomever, and he'll put you on the agenda. Obviously, it would have to be before October, and you'd have to go for you'd have to go for the permit signing process.
Okay.
Yeah, if you put your permit in, James, we can get you on the February agenda. So,
Yep, we'll start that now. Absolutely. Okay.
Okay, so that's all the items that we have. The next meeting is Monday, February 28th at 4 p.m. via Zoom. Do I have a motion
I moved
to adjourn?
to adjourn.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. And the time is, let me find the, okay. So the time is now 4:32. We're going to stay on the same Zoom connection, right?
No, you should have another link for Police Commission. And then
Okay,
another link for the executive session.
okay, very good. So we'll close out this one and jump on the other one.